Today, we are talking about the unique dynamic between gay men and straight men. I'd like to start off with my why here. The short answer is I recently did a series of Instagram posts on this topic, and it generated a flurry, a firestorm of comments from men and women across the sexuality spectrum. And it just goes to show that there's a lot going on beneath the surface that's worth talking about with respect to the dynamic between straight men and gay men. And Instagram is not built for nuanced conversations, but this podcast is. So that's why I wanted to bring the conversation here with Matt and Reno. And on this podcast, we talk a lot about friendships with gay men. Most of the conversations on friendship are specific to gay men. We've also talked about our unique bonds with women quite a bit on this show. But when it comes to friendships with straight men, there's a unique complexity that we rarely dissect. So let's talk about it. Many gay men see straight men through a lens of survival. They were the bullies of our past. They may have felt intimidating or dangerous. And for some, maybe they still are intimidating and dangerous. And for some, straight men actually also represent a father figure who was perhaps cold, distant, or totally absent. Meanwhile, for other gay men, straight men can represent a gold standard of sorts, a visceral attraction to traditional masculinity, an unavailability that can be tempting to chase or want to seek in a sexual manner, or a validation that we're just desperate to win, right? Yet, let's flip it for straight guys, right? They're struggling out there. I did some research on this. In 2024, 17% of straight identifying single men report having zero close friends. Zero. That's about 1 in 5. No close friends. Further, only 38% felt like they can turn to a friend for emotional support. Our straight brothers are literally starving for real connection and emotional intimacy out there. Now, I get it. Let's be clear. Gay men struggle too. Not saying we don't struggle. This is not a zero-sum game. We deal with higher rates of anxiety, depression, minority stress. We talk about that all the time on this show. But as well, because we've had to survive a world that wasn't built for us, it has enabled us as gay men some very unique life skills, some of which we've been forced to master the art of chosen family. We've liberated ourselves from a lot of social norms that straight men still have to adhere to, right? Things like the rule book on sex, dating, and relationships. We've built emotional muscles that the average straight man hasn't even been allowed to flex. Things like authentic self-expression, vulnerability, courage, just to name a few. So our coming out struggles, hard as they may have been, gave us life skills to build a toolbox for things like intimacy and authenticity. While our straight brothers were handed a very rigid script for masculinity that has left them empty-handed. So now you have this interesting dynamic, okay? You've got gay men who've learned emotional depth, expression, authenticity, intimacy, but are still drawn in many ways to the traditional masculine energy that straight men naturally carry. And then on the flip side, you've got straight men who have never had to question their identity, but they're suffering inside of it in many ways. They're starving for that vulnerability, for that intimacy, for that connection and authenticity that comes so easily to us. It's almost like we're balancing each other out. Huh. Now, I know I can hear you guys. I know this does not apply to everyone. Just chill out, okay? This is a generalization. I get it. But I think that this pattern shows up often enough that it's worth looking at and worth talking about. And so that's what we're doing here today.